All right, welcome to the stream, y'all. Welcome. I just gotta add the thumbnail into this and everything. Give me a sec. We'll see if anybody hops in here. 1 second. Okay, we got a documentary to react to today. I was watching this last night, and I thought, I should probably share this on my stream because it's pretty groundbreaking stuff. The documentary is titled "Why Men Are Becoming Weaker." It's from a YouTuber by the name of Jake Tran. So yeah, we're going to take a look at this, something I think I should share with my audience. Now, this video on a channel like mine should go viral. Like, this should get shared around like crazy. This should get a lot of attention because this is a big issue that we're facing nowadays, is weak men. So I'm not going to talk too much. I'm going to let the documentary do the talking, share this out, like the video, all that good stuff. And thank you for tuning in today on this spontaneous live stream this morning. I'm not sure if you could tell, I'm tired. I got bags under my eyes. I gotta work on getting better sleep, man. I really do. They talk about that in this documentary too. I think. I don't know. I was watching a whole bunch of different things on like testosterone stuff. But this video is about why men are becoming weaker. Let me know if you could hear me. Type 1 in the chat if you could hear me. Big Dice puts a 2. I think you mean second like. I appreciate you for liking the stream. Yeah, please hit the like button. I need this one to get shared out. This is one that I think is pretty big. This is a video, again, that should go viral on a channel like mine. Not to say that I'm doing this just to go viral. I really, truly think that I should share this with you guys. But I think that this is a message that you guys should be interested in because this is affecting society heavily. Okay, you could hear me. Perfect. Okay, thank you, everybody, for tuning in. My name's Tyson Hockley if you're new here, and we're going to be hopping into this documentary. Once I start playing it, I'm going to need you guys to let me know if you can hear it or not. So yeah, without any further ado, we're going to hop right into this. Okay, thank you for the ones in the chat letting me know that you guys can hear me. Perfect. Okay. Now, I need you guys to let me know if you can hear the documentary. Again, I want to give credit where it's due. Jake Tran. Jake Tran, he is the maker of this documentary. I've already seen this, so I guess it's my second time reacting. I was watching this last night. I'm like, I need to share this with my audience. So I hope that you guys feel the same way about it. Let me know.
The high school class of 1980. This is the class of 2000, and this is the class of 2020. Notice anything different between the
type a 2 in the chat now if you can hear the video, because sometimes the actual video audio doesn't come through good. Please throw a 2 there in the chat if you could actually hear the video, because I want to make sure I'm not playing it where you guys can't hear anything that's actually being said. So I'll wait for like a second to see some reactions in the chat. Please let me know if it's coming through loud and clear. 2? Okay, perfect. So you guys can hear the video. Sweet. Okay, sounds great.
these two images, look at the men. Now look at the picture from the class of 2020. You don't see men, do you? Those are boys, aren't they?
Are you a man who feels like you're losing your edge? Are you getting all you can from your workouts? Are you satisfied with your romantic life?
Researchers have found that male sperm count has plummeted by 50% since the 1970s.
Erectile dysfunction, social anxiety, low confidence, fear of talking to women, obesity, low sperm counts, difficulty building muscle, depression, and lack of motivation. They're all problems modern men are facing more than any generation ever before.
I kept feeling worse and worse. I had no energy at all, and no sex drive either. But I could feel something just wasn't right. It didn't happen overnight. And then I was diagnosed with depression, and I realized that something was seriously wrong with me. And then I figured out that this might have something to do with a testosterone deficiency.
They are all associated with lower testosterone level.
It's said testosterone is the hormone that makes men, well, men. It sculpts the male body, increasing muscle mass and bone strength, and molds the male mind, fueling libido, risk-taking, and the pursuit of status.
Since 1950, the testosterone level in men have been dropping up to 1% a year.
In some context, the average 30-year-old guy today would have the same testosterone levels as a guy who was 60 years old in 1950.
So what's causing such a rapid decrease in testosterone?
Soy. Does it feminize you? Does it give you man boobs? Does it lower testosterone?
There's even like residual estrogen in our tap water because of—
It's absolutely crazy the stuff that they're doing to try to, I mean, some of it is unintentional, I think, like the tap water, the microplastics. I think a lot of it is unintentional, but they'll get into that later. Brian, watching over on Kick. That's crazy to see we have somebody watching on Kick. I think you followed me from my Twitter post over there. I appreciate it. That's just another platform I'm expanding to, so thank you.
The birth control.
The massive influence of estradiol from the birth control pill, which leaks into the water table and does not get filtered out through municipal water supplies.
Tap water contains things like endocrine disruptors, hormone disruptors that can negatively impact reproductive health in males.
And the advent of BPAs and plastics, drinking and eating and touching a lot of these materials which leach through our skin, get into our bodies and act as estrogen mimicking compounds.
The amount of testosterone in your body may be equivalent to a pinch of sugar in an Olympic swimming pool, and yet it has these profound effects.
However, the fact remains that men are becoming less of, well, men. Not only in their behavior and in their dress, but also in their biological makeup. Men now are weaker, slower, and less intelligent. We are, simply put, not the men our fathers are.
Humanity is facing a crisis right now. Men are getting weaker and softer both mentally and physically. And it's all because of one thing: testosterone.
We're all getting old.
Low testosterone?
Energy, drive.
Low testosterone.
Testosterone levels.
Performance.
Testosterone levels.
Sex drive. Be the best you can be.
Today, men are experiencing a population level decline in testosterone levels, and it's happening to all men, including adolescent and young adult men. And why is this collapse in testosterone bad? Because testosterone is what makes men men.
Folks, this is absolutely gonna have a huge impact on the society, and it already is. What's that saying? Weak men create hard times create strong men create easy men create weak times. Or, easy men create easy times create weak men. So I think right now we're kind of in the easy times where it's creating a lot of weak men. I just absolutely butchered that. Again, I'm tired, folks.
Testosterone is a very important male hormone. If a man doesn't have any testosterone, he loses a lot of characteristics that makes him a man.
I mean, it's the male super hormone, right? It's the thing that drives us towards success. It's the thing that influences motivation, energy levels. And as men's testosterone drops, they get pudgy, they lack motivation, guys get man boobs. Like, it is the key hormone.
I was watching this last night. He ends up talking about Alex Jones too, which I found was kind of funny. They're turning the frogs gay, but they actually are. So keep watching.
For men being man.
Testosterone is what gives us ambition, drive. It's what pushes us to achieve, to win, to dominate. It's what gives us our masculine features. To take away a man's testosterone is to take away everything that makes him a man. And yet, that is what modern society is systematically doing to you right now. And it's not even just testosterone. Between the years 1973 and 2011, male sperm count dropped by 59%. We have less than half the sperm count from just 50 years ago. And based on predictions, sperm count will reach 0 by 2045.
But there's lots of kids on there in like the bodybuilding communities who are
a lot of men are becoming absolutely infertile too. Like a lot of kids right now are gonna grow up and realize that they are not able to have children. And I did like a little laugh there, but it's not funny at all. It's not funny. Like, this could be the end of society if men stop being able to have kids. Well, obviously they can't have kids, but if men stop being able to impregnate women, then that's the end of a society right there. Like, that's the end of the world. Crazy.
Early teens, late teens, early 20s that are, a lot of them even, some not, but some getting their blood work done beforehand and having abysmal testosterone levels. They're talking about how their testosterones are in like the 1 to 200s nanograms per deciliter, which is on the like the very, very bottom of the scale. And these guys getting on testosterone because it's like, what's the trade-off? Like, do I start testosterone therapy and feel great, feel like a normal person and be able to go to the gym and be healthy and sacrifice not being able to have kids? Like, it's a very heated sort of topic because there's an obvious trade-off to doing that, but there's a huge advantage to doing it too because you feel so good when people feel so good when they do it.
Or in other words, if you don't do something about this, if you don't learn what's causing this drop in testosterone and sperm count, the survival of the human race is legitimately at stake here. So in this video, we're gonna go over all the different things in our modern world that are attacking your testosterone right now, along with what you can do about it. And as you're gonna see, this list is very, very long.
Over the last several years, the U.S. Geological Survey has tested the water. It found that something in the water is tampering with the hormones of 85%
Look at that, getting a water filter soon too. Like, they don't even have fluoride in the water apparently where I live, but still they have all this other crap that they're about to talk about in the documentary. I think everybody should invest in a water filter, and I'm looking into it too.
The male smallmouth bass and a quarter of the male largemouth bass, and causing them to develop.
Alex Jones was right.
male reproductive traits.
Actually, scientists call it male feminization. I mean, it's literally termed male feminization.
Wow.
If you expose animals to enough of these chemicals, you can turn a male frog into a female or a male animal into a female and all this kind of thing.
That's
Stay
right.
dangerous, and this is the downfall of man.
Turning the frogs gay.
When soy was first brought into the US in 1804, American dairy farmers went crazy for it. This simple little bean was super cheap and super high in protein, which made it great for feeding cows. But soy also contains something else, extremely high levels of estrogen. If you don't know, estrogen is to females what testosterone is to males. Estrogen is what makes women women. But when estrogen levels become too high, especially in males, it can lead to a whole lot of problems like infertility, low testosterone, slow growth, shrinking muscle mass, and weight gain. And soy happens to have more estrogen than any other bean in existence. No, seriously, 1 cup of soybeans has the equivalent amount of estrogen as 20,000 cups of chickpeas,
That's
which makes
crazy. That is crazy.
soy the perfect food for farmers to fatten up their cows. Thanks to the high estrogen content, American farmers could feed their cows soy, and the estrogen would make cows super fat. And the fatter they got, the more money the farmers stood to make. And sure, it probably wasn't great that these farmers were force-feeding estrogen to their cows, and therefore force-feeding us estrogen through their meat and milk, but who cares? The cows were now bigger and juicier than ever, so no one complained. Soy became a miracle crop for the American meat industry, but soy also became great for the food industry as a whole. Here was the super cheap protein alternative that could be molded into anything your heart desired. And so soy flourished amongst big food. Food companies all over the US started to create their own cheap soy food derivatives. Things like soybean oil, soy protein isolate, and soy flour were quickly seeping into the American food supply. Lay's chips could be fried in a blend of cheap canola, corn, and soy oil. Campbell's chicken noodle soup would get a dash of soy protein isolate, and IM's dog food would get soybean meal. And before you know it, soy started to be found in so many different foods. Some Americans were switching from beef burgers to soy burgers. French fries were fried in soy oil, and soy-based formula was getting fed to babies. But little did these soy guzzlers know that eating all this estrogen on a daily basis would lead to some unexpected consequences.
It's interesting because all scientists agree that soy acts like estrogen. Even the vegan scientists that are defending it and stuff, they say, of course it acts.
That's why they call people who are weak soy boys, because soy has a ton of estrogen in it. I found that so funny. I started to connect the dots. I'm like, why are they calling these people soy boys? It's like, oh, because soy literally makes you way more feminine because it contains tons of estrogen.
Like estrogen.
But it's not just the actual soybean that was now killing testosterone, it's also what grew on soy. See, after soy is harvested, it's usually stored for months and months and months in dingy storehouses. And what happens when you store food products for months and months and months in dingy storehouses? Mold will start to grow on the beans. That's right, the same mold that you find in a dark, damp basement is floating in your cup of soy milk. And guess what? That mold is also highly estrogenic.
They analyzed serum mycoestrogen. That's estrogen secreted by molds found in grains. We're going to talk about that. And they looked at 30 girls with early puberty, 30 girls that were healthy, and they found high levels of mold estrogen in the girls with early puberty. What else did they find though? More interestingly, they found the girls were bigger, they fatter, they had more weight. This mold estrogen has a chemical resemblance to anabolic agents used in animal breeding. And there's other papers that say the same thing. They talk about how farmers used to use this specifically to fatten cows. Maybe they still do, but they actually would inject it and use it as a drug, mold estrogen. It makes the animals fatter, makes the girls fatter too.
That's right, all those bad side effects you get from eating too much soy, well, it's doubly bad if the soy has mold on it. So all these high estrogen food products that have become the norm in society are just silently crushing your testosterone and causing you to have all these bad side effects. So if you haven't already, it's time to cut all this artificial food out. And when it comes to beef, only eat grass-fed beef. But cutting out artificial food is just the first step, because the next thing you have to avoid like the plague is the water supply. Here's the thing, America is on a lot of pharmaceutical drugs, painkillers, antidepressants, ADHD medication, and a ton more are being used by millions of people on a daily basis, with one of the most widespread drugs being birth control. And here's the thing about birth control. When someone takes a birth control pill or any other drug, they usually only end up absorbing 10% of it. The rest of that drug gets peed out, which then gets flushed down.
Then the rest gets peed out into the water supply, and they don't have the technology to filter it out, so it ends up coming into our tap water, which we drink. So we end up drinking all this medication that was unable to be filtered out, so we end up drinking the residue from these birth control pills, which is just pure estrogen. That's crazy. I think everybody watching should invest in a water filter. I'm looking into it as well. I'm trying to convince my parents. I might just end up ordering one, honestly, because, yeah, that's crazy.
Toilet, which then makes its way to water treatment facilities. The only problem is most birth control pills contain something called ethinyl estradiol, a type of estrogen. So all this estrogen and other terrible chemicals make their way into the water treatment facilities, and then it gets sent straight back to your tap. Problem is, most water treatment facilities don't have the capabilities to filter out all these chemicals. Think about it, these facilities are ancient. They're not advanced enough to filter all this out, so these pharmaceuticals and birth control pills are not getting filtered out of your tap water. That's why in 2021, 7 different water facilities in Kentucky all had artificial estrogen in their water supply. And you don't even have to be chugging huge amounts of estrogens for it to mess you up. Even a small amount can cause damage. Even contact with this water through your shower can cause damage. It was found that male fish that swim in water that contain low levels
of— You can't even take a shower nowadays without being showered in estrogen.
Artificial estrogens from birth control ended up developing feminine traits. These male fish literally started to produce eggs in their testicles, and these horrifying changes in their hormones were passed down through the generations, which means a male fish who was exposed to estrogens would continue to produce offspring with deformities, whether or not he was still swimming in the estrogenic water, which is really horrifying. And this is the same water that is coming out—
Yo, what's up, Mark Gatton? I appreciate you popping in here, man. God bless. Thank you for joining.
Your sink and shower faucet right now. And we're not just talking about pharmaceuticals here. We haven't even touched on the microplastics in your water, the lead in your water, waterborne bacteria, forever chemicals.
Hey, everybody watching on YouTube and Facebook, please spam that like button. I hate to interrupt this documentary. I know you guys are locked in on it, but please share this like crazy and smash that like button. This is a video that needs to get shared around. That's the reason I'm sharing it. I believe thousands of people need to see this. This documentary has over 1 million views on the main YouTube channel it's posted on too. Jake Tran is the main creator. But yeah, like this video, share this, please.
Right, and more.
There's an old viral clip of Alex Jones screaming about they're turning the frogs gay, they're turning the frogs gay, and that's all anyone remembers.
They are
right?
turning
they
the
don't remember
frogs
the context of that. But long story short, there was studies ran on this, water in London. What happens is, you have a population of women on birth control and they urinate, and that's the same water that ultimately ends up in the drinking water. The current water, infrastructure doesn't do a good job of filtering everything out, and so there's trace levels of atrazine across the board, which has been shown to spike estrogen and all this stuff. And so what Alex is screaming about is in London, they ran studies on these actual frogs, which has been exposed to extremely high levels of atrazine, and the frogs their mating patterns had changed. They turned gay. And so that makes you wonder, right? As humans.
Alex Jones was right. That's crazy, dude. The guy that they banned and censored off all platforms ends up being right. And this is not the only thing he's right about. I don't want to delve too far into conspiracies, but I mean, hey. He was right about a lot of things.
Who are drinking tap water on a day in, day out basis. What kind of impact does this have on our own endocrine systems? And one would think that it's extremely estrogenic and influences male behavior in a way that probably isn't healthy.
This is Robert Oliver, by the way. He's the founder of the Genius brand, which you've probably seen on Amazon. He's a good friend and overall great guy that has always been obsessed over optimizing his health. Now back to the water supply. Not even bottled water is completely safe, because whenever you see purified water on a bottle, that just means they bottled up tap water to sell it to you. Except now it's in a plastic bottle which is full of something called phthalates, which, you guessed it again, also mimics the effects of estrogen in your body. So what water is safe? Well, you want to stick to just drinking natural spring water that comes in a glass bottle. We looked into it, and these are the
guys, all plastics too are estrogenic. Like, I wear cotton clothing now. I got my mom to buy me cotton underwear, and I only wear stuff for the most part if it's cotton. I'm trying to get cotton shorts. That's my only compromise, is I don't have any cotton shorts. But all the outfits I wear is cotton, because polyester contains microplastics, which seeps into you. So yeah, you got to make sure you watch what you're wearing too. Anything is polyester, what's the other thing? Spandex, all that stuff contains microplastics, which is you're wearing on your skin, which is estrogenic. So please get cotton. What's the other one? Nylon. Those are the two that I know of that don't contain any microplastics. I wear, for the most part, all cotton.
We recommend Mountain Valley Aquapana and Antipodes Sparkling Water. Not sponsored, although it should be. These were the only 3 spring water brands that we found that didn't contain fluoride, forever chemicals, and other harmful chemicals. But even if you avoid the soy and tap water completely, the attack on testosterone doesn't end there, because we are just scratching the surface.
And this isn't just bad for men too. Too much estrogen, like they were saying earlier, can make girls fatter too. Like, this is not just something that men need to pay attention to. Yes, it's attacking men for the most part, but women should also care about this too. And also, women need strong men as well. So I think everybody should care about this, and this should get shared around like crazy.
Phthalates, parabens, and APEs. These are other estrogenic chemicals that are literally found everywhere. They're in the air, in pesticides, and in almost every cosmetic, skincare, and cleaning product in existence. They're even on printed receipts.
But the most serious or enriched source of BPAs are things like printed receipts.
That new trendy body wash.
Guys, I hate to interrupt again. I just want to say the stream on YouTube has been demonetized. Well, it's been restricted monetization. So the only way I can make money through this is via super chats. I just want to throw that out there. I'm making little to no ad revenue now. I got the yellow dollar sign, which YouTube loves to slap on my streams for some reason. So just want to throw that out there.
You just bought? Yeah, that's full of artificial estrogens called APEs. APEs are the key ingredient that makes soap sudsy. So while you're lathering yourself up with your body wash, these APEs, which are full of estrogen, get absorbed
You can't even take a normal shower without absorbing estrogen into your body.
Into your skin.
So basically, people are rubbing estrogen on their skin with their soap. It loves to go through your skin. It doesn't want to wash out in the water. It wants to stay on your skin. I mean, the fragrance stays on, right?
So basically, when you can rub up against things to get estrogen on you, and you absorb them in your skin.
Oh yeah.
APEs have been linked to spontaneous abortion in humans and mice, and zebrafish embryos that were exposed to APEs experienced genetic changes just 2 weeks later. So this stuff is potent. There's also phthalates, which are found in children's toys, plastics, and perfumes. One study found that pregnant women who used perfume had 167% more phthalates in their urine than women who didn't use perfume. And even if you avoid the conventional skincare products, you are still getting exposed. BP, an estrogenic chemical used in plastic, has been found in indoor air samples, which includes public offices, barbershops, and cars. So yeah, that new car smell is actually the sweet, sweet smell of estrogen.
That new car smell?
Yeah.
That's actually estrogen too. Like, that's plastic, but it's the chemical is called phthalates. They're actually a little bit attractive to us, right? Like, we like that new car smell because it tricks our body. We think that's estrogen.
Other chemicals that are disruptive for testosterone. Organophosphates, those are things found in all the, fertilizer and chemical cleaners out there. Things like mercury, like fish nowadays, incredibly high mercury levels. Like, if you eat an exclusively tuna diet, you'll likely get mercury poison. We know this is extremely disruptive for testosterone. And so it feels like it's just coming at men from all angles.
So what this means is that the US is a giant cesspool of toxic estrogens, and there is no slowing this down.
Other countries have completely banned estrogenics and estrogen products, while America, Canada, countries like that, they don't give a damn. They don't. All they care about is profits and cheaping out. They don't care about the health of their citizens.
Countries like China and Europe have banned estrogenic chemicals. Meanwhile, America can't seem to get enough. That's because APEs, phthalates, and parabens make corporate America go round. Think about it like this. Why would a farmer waste money on organic farming methods when they can just spray highly toxic pesticides on their produce? Why would McDonald's put up with stale bread when they could just sprinkle on an estrogen called azodicarbonamide, also known as yoga mat material, to make their buns more soft? And as a mega corporation whose entire livelihood depends on these chemicals, you need to make sure that nothing will ever get in the way of you using these chemicals in your products long term. That's why you publish scientific studies that show just how safe and harmless these artificial estrogens can be. And in these studies, you make sure to use vague terms like unlikely, just like you did in this study, saying that atrazine, a highly estrogenic pesticide, is unlikely to cause breast cancer. You're not saying it doesn't cause breast cancer, you're just saying that it's unlikely that it will cause breast cancer. See what we did there? Just keep it vague and no one will ask questions. Never mind that 12 years later, another study comes out saying that atrazine absolutely does cause breast cancer and seriously hinders your immune system. You just need to make sure that your miracle chemical stays legal for as long as possible. And those scientists that you're paying to run these studies are more than happy to do whatever you say. Think about it, some of them just graduated college. And if you or daddy government gives them a grant to find the benefits of estrogenic chemicals on your behalf, they better find some benefits or they will starve. Estrogenic chemicals have made a very select few extremely rich. But it's not just the products that are leading to the downfall of man, it's also the culture. And this is the touchy one.
At a societal level, it's kind of being thrown down men's throats. Like in high fashion, like dresses are acceptable for men. You know, there's just less and less talk of what it started with the whole toxic masculinity thing and just the idea that being a man in any sort of capacity was like a negative, right? Caused harm and damage. And so, yeah, I mean, that's it to me. When you have celebrities like wearing dresses and parading that around, it tends to have an impact.
It's simple. If you condition men long enough to believe that it's bad to act like a man, it's gonna have an impact. When you constantly tell men that the way they're acting is toxic, eventually you will wear them down.
Yeah, do you think like this feminization of men is on purpose? Like from the people at the top, like they want this?
You know, nowadays as I get older, I try not to get into too much of the conspiratorial stuff. Like it certainly feels like that. You know, it feels like, and if you do zoom out and I put my conspiracy hat back on, a population of weak men is going to be dramatically easier to control, right? Just across the board. And so if you can feminize a population, the chances of any sort of upvolt or revolt or uprising are slim to none. And so, gun to my head, I'd probably say a lot of it is intentional. I think a lot of it's probably not. Like plastics, it's just it has an impact and there's no incentive for anyone to stop it, but it's really just a cheap material that one can make as a, you know the whole oil industry and all of that. And so I wouldn't label that per se as like intentional, but maybe it is. At the end of the day, the net result is much weaker men across the board.
Yeah, I've noticed that half of it is probably unintentional, like people just chasing a dollar or whatever, and the other half happens to align with, and that result happens to align with the people in power, like they want weaker men. So it's just like a convenient thing.
Correct. And that it seems like that across the board. When you have media that seems to be a good rule of thumb. When you have media aligned, mainstream media aligned with one clear and definitive message, someone's probably influencing it in some capacity. Yeah. And we've seen
when all the mainstream media is promoting one narrative, then you know that there's some sort of cash behind that narrative.
Consistent talk track on what it means, toxic masculinity, the erosion of gender roles, male and female are equal, if we can even define what that means.
Estrogen levels are higher in men. Men are being feminized. The last thing you want is a feminized male. What you want is a man who's learned to be a better man, alpha male, who can also take care of his children, be with his wife, be with his family, healthy testosterone levels.
He's wearing a dress.
Wearing a dress doing whippets. What the f are they
I
thinking?
think when you have low testosterone, you won't be motivated to do anything. These days, there's more female students enrolled in universities than male. In the 1950s, 70% of students were male. Now it's only 40%. Enrollment in sports is also going down.
Testosterone has some very interesting effects on the brain. The major mental effect of testosterone is it makes effort feel good.
Oh, that makes sense.
While Gen Z is statistically less interested in sex compared to previous generations. But there is good news amongst all this doom and gloom. If you have low testosterone, if you suffer from some of the side effects like weight gain, low muscle mass, depression, facial hair loss, fatigue, you don't have any sex drive, if you suffer from any of that, there is a simple fix.
Now, this part of the documentary is super important. It shows what you could do to combat the feminization of society, what you could do to protect your T levels as a man. And I've already been doing a lot of those things.
Can you actually naturally or supplementally increase your testosterone?
So to be super clear, when you get down to like making a huge difference in natural T levels, it needs to start with lifestyle. Like I mentioned earlier, obesity is by far the leading driver of we know that definitively. If you're obese, if you're carrying excess body fat, it's negatively hurting your T levels. If you're not sleeping properly, negatively hurting your T levels. If you're over consuming sugar, plastic, all of that has an impact. Let me just put kind of like my key priorities. Number one, at the top of everything, thing is sleep. Number two, and this is one that like I don't deal with or experience, but I see it out there. I think a lot of young men are ruined by their phones and the OnlyFans and the instant gratification.
The radiation that your phone produces also has an effect on your T levels. Like, I do not sleep with my phone in my room. I keep it in the kitchen plugged in overnight. I used to sleep with it plugged in every single night right beside my bed, and I know not to do that anymore because that's horrible.
Women and sexualization. I think that's a super real thing that has just a horrendous impact on testosterone. You know, they become these relationships. What's the word when someone like loves a YouTuber? Parasymbiotic or whatever, where you know a lot about the other person or you're obsessed about them and they don't know anything about you. And there's a generation of men on that, on Twitch. And so I think cutting that out is huge. Next is getting some level of sunlight in your day-to-day life. You know, the sun is the thing that's been supercharging us, empowering us from the beginning of, you know, humanity. And so don't be afraid to take your shirt off and get out there. Next would be, you know, please cut out the plastics, cut out the tap water. I'd put those into the same kind of like extra bucket. And then last but not least, you know, if you're in an area with limited sunlight, invest in red light, invest in red light therapy. I think that's the next best thing. Getting 15, 20 minutes of that a day, it can have meaningful impact on your testosterone levels.
Yeah, so sunlight seems like a very small thing, but you're saying that
huge.
It has that big of an impact.
Huge. The vitamin D, like just there's all sorts of different signaling that I'm not smart enough to explain. But I would say at the end of the day, sunlight is probably, you know, at the top of that list, right, with sleep and all that. And they all feed off each other. Like if you get your sunlight first thing in the morning, you're setting your circadian rhythm in motion, you're sleeping better, you know, there's stuff with your cortisol and stress levels. And ultimately that cycle is what's gonna feed healthy hormonal activity.
And what I've noticed in my own journey is that if you cut out all the artificial foods and tap water and you just exercise more, that will get you pretty much 80% of the way there. You'll look better and feel better than 80% of the population just by doing that. But as we mentioned, estrogenics are literally everywhere. And short of living off the grid on your own homestead, you're not going to be able to escape them. Chances are you're still going to have to interact with products or air molecules that have toxic stuff in it. So if you want a little bit of a boost, there are certain supplements that have been shown to increase testosterone, like Andrew Huberman has talked about.
Now, for people that aren't getting prescribed,
Andrew Huberman's great. This guy goes really into depth about a lot of topics. You might have already heard about him. He's been on Joe Rogan. He's got his own podcast called the Huberman Lab. He's fantastic.
TRT, but want the increase in testosterone. There are these plant compounds like Tonga Ali, and another one which is very interesting. It's a Nigerian shrub called Phaedogia agrestis, and it mimics luteinizing hormone, which is the hormone that comes out of the hypothalamus that stimulates the testes if you got those and the ovaries if you've got those to make more testosterone or estrogen. And so those two herbal supplements together can give a significant boost in free and active testosterone.
But the problem is, the testosterone supplement space is super sketchy. Which is why Rob decided to create Kingmaker. Kingmaker is the testosterone supplement to end all testosterone supplements that you can pick up by clicking the link below. Kingmaker contains 12 clinically studied ingredients.
Now I think the documentary is pretty much over. Just,
it does not have
sponsored plays. We'll still play the sponsored ad though, because it kind of ties in still.
A proprietary blend, so you can actually see what's in it and what amounts on the label, and the way you can tell it's legit is because of the serving size. The serving size for Kingmaker is 5 capsules. That's right, you have to take 5 capsules a day. And although that may sound like a downside, if the serving size was just 1 or 2 capsules a day, it would literally be impossible for you to get the right doses of each ingredient for it to actually make a difference. And yet that's what every other fake testosterone supplement does. Another way you know Kingmaker is legit is because of the price. Kingmaker is not cheap. Because Rob uses real ingredients in the right doses, it costs Rob as much money to make Kingmaker as what other fake testosterone supplements are selling for. I actually use Rob's products every single day myself and I love them. I can't recommend Kingmaker enough, so scroll down, click the
Yeah, okay, so that's the end of the documentary. Thank you everybody for watching. Again, this stream has been limited in monetization, so the only like real revenue I'd be making is from super chats. I might still make like a tiny bit of ad revenue, but it's got the yellow dollar sign. I did not do the stream for money. I did the stream because I was watching this documentary yesterday and I realized that this truly needs to be shared. It truly does. Very important message. So I hope that you guys got a good takeaway from this. Thank you for watching. I got a massage soon, but I think I'm gonna go out and do some boxing. I just picked up these puppies. I got the punching bag out in my backyard, so I'm gonna go do a little bit of sparring, go ham on the bag. Kind of hurts my wrist though. It's a super heavy bag. But yeah, I'm gonna go out, probably do a little bit of that. Why would YouTube demonetize? I don't know. My channel's monetized again though, which is awesome. Very grateful for that. But yeah, I'm gonna go do some sparring outside. go get my reps in, go have a nice massage. Just a rest day from the gym, but I might still grind out some push-ups, for sure. Jackie, yeah, that's another thing. I gotta prioritize my sleep more, 100%. That has a huge effect on testosterone levels. But yeah, I hope that you guys found value from today's broadcast. Please share this out. It's funny now we're starting to peak in YouTube viewers, it says. Funny now that the documentary is over, the people are hopping in. Please rewind the stream and go watch that documentary if you're just joining. Please smash that like button, share this out, subscribe to my channel if you're new. If you're watching on Facebook, please follow me over there. We're also live on Rumble. Get beefed up, yeah. Yeah. Okay, yeah. We're live on Rumble as well. We're also live on Kick, all these new free speech platforms. You love to see it. You really do. Yeah, thank you for watching, everybody. Have a great rest of your day. God bless you. Share this out, like this, and again, I hope that you guys found value. Jackie says you're heading on top. I hope so, man. I gotta revive this channel, though. It seems like I don't want to put any negative stuff into the universe, but you guys can see the viewer count. It's not like horrible, and I am grateful for the people that we do have, but we could definitely keep building this channel up for sure. We could definitely keep elevating, and I want to get back to where I was. I got some interesting guests. I'm trying to work out getting on the show, so stay tuned for that. I don't want to drop names, but I do have a lot of people that I've been looking into getting on the show, which are in my DMs as we speak. So yeah, take care, everybody. Thank you for watching, and I will see you in the next one.